Welcome, 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 welcome. Today's October 10th, Friday. It's 10:30 a.m. News at 10 a.m. Preliminary University of Michigan consumer sentiment. Preliminary University of Michigan inflation expectations. Not necessarily it is a red folder within news, but not necessarily something that I'm worried about for today. But I have an announcement to make eventually. But for now, let's go over news. Let's go over charts. Let's go for what's going on. I suffered a loss today. I placed a trade. I placed a long. So right here is about 9:30. Right here is 9:30. Market open. Prior to market open, we had seen yesterday that price had made this breakdown. And then you can see here. Starting to make a rally from yesterday PM session into today, where you have this slight fall to the downside, but then you see price starts to rally up. But prior to New York Open, price was, you could just say, consolidating. So what I had seen here was, if we mark out this this trend line that I had been watching. And if you're not familiar with trend line patterns, the idea is to follow the current trend to the best of your ability from a top-down analysis. And a top-down analysis is when you go to the monthly or even the daily. From there, you start to mark out what are the current trends by tracing the current trend that it is in. So the lowest low that was made, and then when price starts to rally up, I'm trying to follow where price is going by their liquidity sweeps. So their lows that are made when I mark out on the trend line, mark out using the trend line. I find those lows. And same goes for the opposite direction. When price is falling, we're trying to understand where those peaks were made. So if price does rally up over those peaks, for example, right here, if price were to rally above here, that would tell me that price has broken out of this current trend that's going down. And say this candle. So if we're following it like this, and then price comes, rallies up, we're looking for that, because that tells us that price has changed trend, changed direction. Not necessarily in this case, but wouldn't really be taking a trade during this time. I don't really trade during this time. But what I was looking at, following the trend, I saw that price had broken structure, broken out of the current trend of consolidation during that 9:30 to 9:35 candle. Price had broken out. And the retracement, if you want to call it, through this 9:35 candle or this 9:30 candle, that being retracement, I didn't really call it as retracement. I had seen price had broken trend, and then I was like, damn, should I enter right here? And I told myself no, because a retracement is important. It is imperative that that price retraces the current trend before pushing higher because this confirms to me that this will continue in this direction instead of no retracement and the possibility that price can just sweep. And the possibilities are truly endless, but this is a way that this is a confirmation. So price did not retrace, so I did not enter. Price, I mean, you could call it on NQ that it did retrace, but there just wasn't much opportunity unless you were really eyeing down and waiting for this specific setup. You would have entered off of this candle closure and maybe caught this movement to the upside. But seeing as though price didn't continue in this direction, not a great opportunity. But I placed a position as price had came back down and retraced on this trend line. I had placed longs as this was the indication that I was waiting for. And then price comes back down, stops me out. I place my stop loss below this bottom line, below this trend line indicator. As if price were to continue down, that would tell me that price has switched directions and is now going down instead of the area that I was hoping for this current position. I got stopped out, took a step back, and I just looked at price and said, wow, sideways movement inside of the 930 opening range. If you want to see here, this is that 930 candle. But as you can see here, just staying within the opening range. And the opening range is the high and the low of the 930 candle on the 15-minute time frame. So no more trades after that, but NQ representing a very similar price movement. So let me enter this into the Google Sheets, and then I have an announcement. University of Michigan. Consumer sentiment. At 10 a.m. Price consolidated. Saw break in trend. 930. Waited for retracement. And still entered on retracement. And I placed this position on NQ as I had seen a clear retracement on NQ. And entered. And it was almost immediate stop, which is pretty satisfying, to be honest, to not sit in the position the whole day. But 10:05 to 10:10. So I'm bleeding. Oh man. All right. All right. Okay. I'm currently making the decision now, the executive decision. I will be taking a break from streaming my market opens. And the reason that I came to this conclusion is the fact that I'm not necessarily sure if these are more productive or more, I guess the opposite, unproductive, regarding my trading plan. And the goal is not to film all. I mean, the goal is to understand my journey. That was why I'd started these videos, was to monitor my journey across, from, I guess we could say, market recap 30, my 30th market recap, all the way until now, which is like 87 or 88. But I'm not finding that it's serving as fulfilling for my trading plan, and I feel I might benefit further off of um, maybe not providing a market recap every day. Maybe a weekly recap will suffice. I feel like a weekly recap will be pretty solid, and I'm hoping that this can honestly, I might make the decision that any day that I do trade, that I do place a position, I may make a video, uh, but maybe not at the same time. I may make videos based on my milestones, whether it be my first payout or passing the account or milestones like that. I'm not sure the total intention behind it, but I feel as though I may just take a break. Take a break entirely from trading, probably not, but I feel like there may be some opportunity of growth behind taking a step back from that. Now, I will continue to update the Google Sheets regarding my trades placed, but just maybe not on YouTube. So we'll see about this moving forward, whether I want to make the decision to stop that, but this may just be what's best for me. So I'm gonna give it a try. Today's Friday. We'll see over the weekend how things go. But yeah, I'm taking a slight step back, allowing distance for growth. With that being said, where I'm currently at regarding my personal life, though, I got flagged for cheating on a test the other day, and it's just brought to my attention the fact that I'm not really interested at all in pursuing a college degree. I feel as though there's a lack in demand regarding the interest in where I'm going and where I want to be going. It's just may not be necessary. And if I can just take 1% off my plate regarding stress, regarding really any topic, if I can just take 1% off my plate, I feel as though that adds up on the chart, adds up on paper regarding my strategy, regarding trading as a whole. Because my true goal is happiness. And I would say that I don't find happiness through the journey of school. I don't understand the I don't have a why behind it. And if I don't have a why behind it, I find it very unfulfilling and very useless, as the things that are prioritized are useful for my life. Trading, meditation, exercise, jujitsu, these things are important to me because they further the aspects that I can understand the why behind them. And if I can't understand the why behind it, it is not sustainable and I will not continue on. I won't suffer for no reason. I have no problem suffering through losses and um and going through the motions. I don't. I'm not a. I find that I'm a winner when it comes to other thoughts because I will continue on regardless of the current circumstance that I face. But regarding school, I'm a whiner, and I see no other option other than cutting it off. So that's where my head's at. I don't really have much regard for school now. Um, I am better off earning the amount that requires me to live each month as I keep improving my trading plan, keep saving up more money, and then I will use that money to trade while supporting my own lifestyle. So I think that over the last couple months, there's been more going on in my personal life than I'd like to even really account for. And it's not necessarily to say that these things are like I feel like I'm just going through life right now, and as a 19-year-old going through school, going through other things, it's not optimal to juggle so much at once. And juggling in the first place, just I'm diversifying my energy, and the energy that comes down to it on paper is less than it would be if I were to no longer do things that I don't find satisfaction from. So, with that being said, for now on, I don't really have to add a fucking reason. If I don't want to do something, I'm not going to do it. And if I can provide food for my own plate, then I really don't see a regard for anyone else having a problem with it. So, with that being said, yo boys, I'm going through a lot. As much as I want to play it off and say that I'm not, which I sometimes I a lot of my time in my day, I feel like I'm good. I'm doing all right. But at the same time, it's not all like that. Even the small things, they really do add up on paper. They really do. So, if I can mitigate these obstacles within my schedule, I feel as though I may just be one step closer to achieving the things that I have built up in my mind. People will go, people will die. I will die. So, when the reason for why I'm doing something at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, if the reason is for somebody else and if it's not for me, for example, if I'm doing school, pursuing a degree for someone else because they want me to be in school, it won't lead me to much more happiness. If you really think about it, what happiness do I result in when I am doing something for someone else? And when I think about it on paper to say, hey, why am I doing this? It's not really the career path that I want to go into, and it doesn't really lead to any other possibility that I really want right now. Right now, and I mean, I can do some thinking over the next few years, but I've made the executive decision that as long as there is food on my plate and I am providing a fine place for myself to sleep, fine meals, then I have no reason to succumb to the interests of others and what they want, because I know that that will not lead me to a road of happiness. May in the short term, but it is not sustainable. So, with that being said, do this shit for you. Don't do this shit for anyone else. Seriously, if you do this shit for someone else, ask yourself why. Why are you doing it? And if you can't justify why you're doing what you're doing, take the better road for yourself. Even if that disappoints people. And if it disappoints people, why? Why does it disappoint you that I'm choosing a path that is happier for me? And I actually don't even have to ask that question, and I don't actually have to listen to the answer that you provide. I can just walk away. So, with all this being said, I'm doing my best, and I suggest you do yours too. I'm going to do my part. I will show up each day. I will provide a market recap. when I feel it is necessary. But for now, I need to take some time for myself. So let me make a video right now as this being the timestamp and in a memorable point in history where I will let you know my current investments, the size of the investments, and likely to come back and see a different result. Hopefully further down this journey. I mean, it's imperative that I will continue further, because there's no other option. And time is something that is truly constant. Time is something that is inevitable. And if I do not make use of this time wisely, and if I don't enjoy it, do something else. Do something else. Do something else. Do something else, because it is not worth a life under someone else is not a life worth living. I will tell you the truth. All right. Portfolio account is currently 1,800. 46% of the portfolio is Bitcoin. Bitcoin's currently at $121,232 as we speak. Nvidia, I'm also invested in Nvidia. Nvidia is currently $194, holding 30% of my portfolio. Palantir, currently $184. Price is dropping, $183. 15% of my portfolio. And next is Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing, $295. That's the current price per share. Portfolio was just at 1,800. Now it's at 1,790. Bitcoin's dropping. Palantir's dropping. TSM's dropping. All right. That captures for today. You can see there. Damn. All right, y'all boys. I'm going to do my best in the meantime. I really will do my best. And anything else being future adjustments, I guess we'll make in the future. And I really do trust myself. I trust that I am the compass and I am the opportunity that I'm currently sitting in. So I will do my best. And that's that. Hopefully I come back 6-figure. You know what? But if not, like I said, I'm the opportunity and I got to be happy with myself. So if I'm not, I got to make a change, and I'm currently making a change. So with that being said, I say these words and I say them truly. I understand. I know that I'm going to be going somewhere. I don't know where, but I believe in it. So I could say it on camera. You are the fucking man. There's nothing that you can't do if you put your mind to it. All right, y'all boys. I love you. I'm going to see you on the next one.